What's good, YouTube? This is the only Big Green Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, and I'm back with an updated deck profile to Paleo. I've been playing this deck a whole lot more at my locals, and it's been making me go to locals a lot more because I'm starting to enjoy the game more now because of this deck, and I've been learning so much stuff. Like, I've been playing this game for 10 years now, and I've been learning about rulings that I didn't even know existed and stuff like that. And also, I feel like this deck has overall made me a better player. It's made me manage my resources better. And it's made me think about my plays more. It's made me think, do I want to save that or do it now? It makes me think a whole lot more on my opponent's turn than more than what I normally do. Because most of the decks that I normally play are like trolley decks, like Time Lords, Chainburn, Grin Manju, Exodia, crap like that. So now that I'm actually playing a serious deck, it feels kind of good getting wins for actually trying instead of getting wins being a scumbag. Anyways, let's get right into the profile. We got the 3-swap frog. This boy here, he's amazing. Best monster in the deck, I think I could say, hands down. Anyways, if you guys don't know what he does, but if you've seen the original video, then if you're looking at this in general, you should know what he does. But just in case somebody's watching, they don't know what he does, you can discard a water monster to special summon him from your hand. And whenever he's normal summoned or special summoned, you can send to grave a water monster. So you normally send to grave your Duke Frog or your Rodent Totem, of course. And then his other effect is once per turn you can like bounce him, or not once. Is it once per turn his bounce? I actually never really have thought of that. I think it's once per turn. Once per turn you can turn, yeah, so it is once per turn. That's what I was thinking. Once per turn you can bounce him back to your hand, and then you can take an additional normal summon with a frog monster other than himself. But most of the time I like discard a water monster, special him, send to grave a Rodent Totem, bounce him back to hand, and just normal summon him again, send to grave, and I can make a toad. Or if I just opened up just one swap frog and no other water monster, I'll just normal summon, send to grave like a Rodent Totem, and then bounce him to hand to prevent him from being killed on my opponent's turn. And then next up, we got the 3 Duke Frog. The scholar guy, the smartest frog in the game. Duke Frog, whenever he's sent to the graveyard, you can add to hand a frog monster except himself. So the only target in the deck would be Swap Frog. But if there were more frogs, you would still go for Swap Frog. And then also the timing thing, what I was talking about, the missing timing, I finally figured out what that crap means. All these years I knew about it, I just didn't know how to detect it. But like the when, if a card says when and stuff, it'll miss timing if you go into links, synchros, etc. So I have learned about that, which is nice. Thank you guys from the other video showing me about that, telling me about that, because now I understand this guy a whole lot more. And it still doesn't hurt the card at all. Still doesn't hurt it at all. Also, before I put him away, there is a thing called a Duke Frog lock. If you guys played back when the Frog FTK was a thing, or the Gotchi spam with the frogs, or like the Frog Monarch, Frog Obelisk, any of the old frog decks, you guys should know about the Duke Frog lock, where if you control 2 Duke Frogs, the opponent can't attack you. And the reason why is Duke Frog says that he's the only monster that can be attacked, so when you control both of them, the opponent just simply can't attack you, which is nice. And then next up we got the Rodent Totem. You can banish a frog from the grave and then special summon him from the grave. He's virtually your free rank 2 or free link 2, which is amazing. Then the 1 Ash Blossom, I need to be picking up more of these. The regional that's going to be close to me is going to be here in November, so I've got a good month and a half before that regional gets here. So I should be able to have 3 Ashes by that point. And then the 1 Gamma Seal. I've only got the 1. If I had more, I probably would only play the 1 anyways. Next up onto the spells, the Raigeki Dark Hole, just standard. Most players like side deck this, but I like maining them because if this deck doesn't go first, it's very, very hard to combat the opponent. And like the only ways in the deck of combating that would be like the 1 Ash, which I need to get 2 more, the Gamma Seal, the Raigeki Dark Hole, or like an evenly matched, wherever my evenly is. I'll show you later. But that's really like the only way of combating something like that. So that's the reason why I main them. And every now and then I do open them up going first, and it doesn't hurt at all. Because most of the time I'll have a Dino Miscus set anyway, so I can just pitch it. So, I mean, I could care less. And then the 2 Pot of Desires. Banish top 10 cards, draw 2. Sure, the banish cost is heavy, but the banish cost is definitely worth it. Because most of the time, whenever I activate Desires, I'm going to be making like a Mistar Boy and a Toad that turn. So it's worth it. And there's only been one occasion where it's done something like, I know last night, I banished 3 of my Duke Frogs off of 1 Desires, and it didn't even hurt me. Didn't even hurt me at all. I still went off and won that game. And then rarely it'll banish like a Rodent Toad and a Duke Frog and like a Swap Frog. And then again, that doesn't really hurt me either because you play the Paleo engine. It's just something that you've got to work around. Then you play the 1 Scapegoat at 2 on the ban list now. But it doesn't hurt me because like I said, I've tested this card at 3, 2. I've tested at 1, and 1's the ratio I like. I like this card at 1. But anyways, it's just, you might as well ride on this card. Free Saryuja or free Link 4 is what they should just ride on this card. And then you play the Olenoides, the MST of the deck, and then to clarify, whenever a trap card is activated, you can, once per chain a Paleozoic if they're in the grave, and then special summon them onto the battlefield. They have 1200 attack, 0 defense, and they're aqua water monsters. So virtually free walking, totally awesomes. And then the Canadia, Book of Moon, a monster. And then Dinomischus, Karma Cut, discard a card, like target a card on the field, then discard a card, and then banish. The 1 Leoncolia, I want to put this card to 2 or 3 because it can get back your banish thing from Desires, because it doesn't specify. It just says target 1 banish card. It doesn't specify target a banished monster, target a spell, target a trap. It just says target a banish card. So if you do have that instance to where you banish all of your Rodent Totems or something like that, you can just get it back with this. And then Hallucigenia, I'm probably going to take this out when I get the other Ash Blossom. All it is it's just a Gale the Whirlwind. It halves an opponent's monsters' attack and defense. And then the 1 Morella, I don't care much for Morella. I know a lot of people play 3 of this card or 2 of this card. I only play 1. I could care less about this card. It's good for deck thinning and it's good for dumping Lost Wind in the grave, but that's really all about it. But yeah, the 1 Lost Wind just for the Morella. I hate opening this card up so much. That's the reason I play 1 of it. I feel like this card is a Garnet. I feel like this card is a Garnet, especially if you don't have this thing. And even when I open this up, I don't like opening this up either. I'm just weird. And then next, the best trap card in the deck, evenly matched. I'm going to be getting 2 more of these, hopefully. By that, like I say, I've got like a month and a half to get 2 of these and 2 ashes. That should be pretty easy for me to do. So hopefully by the end of next month, I'll have 3 evenlies and 3 ashes in the deck. But if you want to see a cool combo, Swap Frog evenly pretty much is Exodia. You win the duel. No lie. Try it. You win the duel. A Torrential Tribute just for, stopping your opponent from going off on you if you brick or something like that. 1 goes a match. I need to get 1 more or 2 more of these, but I'm liking it at 1 right now. Most of the time when I open this thing up, I normally win that game, especially if I'm playing something like Ultrageist. And then the 2 Heavy Storm Duster, target up to 2 spell or traps, and then destroy them. And then you can't conduct your battle phase, but who cares? You're activating this in your opponent's turn. And then the 3 Reckless Greed, draw 2, skip 2. This is really good. A lot of times if I have this and a Swap Frog in hand, I normally go off that turn. And again, I'm going to say this a lot. Make a Mistar Boy Toad or Mistar Boy Double Toad. This card leads to a lot of shenanigans. And then we got the Solemn Brigade. I have the 3rd strike, I just don't play it. I can't find room for the 3rd strike, but by all means, if you guys can find room for a 3rd strike, play the 3rd strike. And then that's it for the main deck. On to the extra deck, we got the Double Mistar Boy. He takes 2 water monsters, and then all water monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense. Also, all fire monsters on the field lose 400 attack and 400 defense. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 water monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand except himself. And then Mrs. Radiant is the exact same thing of Miss Starboy, just for Earths. And then Proxy Dragon, these are in here just for going off into a Borreload or a Saryuja. And then I know one guy commented, how did I go into Mrs. Radiant? And if you guys are wondering, Scapegoat. The Scapegoat tokens are Earth. So you can just go Scapegoat, put your 4 tokens in any zone you want, link with 2 to Mrs. Radiant, and then link down here to a Proxy Dragon. And then you'll like go and summon your Swap Frog, and then bring back your Rodent Totem, and then, you know, link into a, link into a Saryuja, so that way you're using 4 different names. You can just draw the 4, return the 3, and then by that point, you're just going to go make a Toad at that point under him. So you most likely win the game if you can do that. But anyways, of course, the Borreload and then Saryuja. Borreload's big effect that you should know about is he's still a monster whenever he attacks at the end of damage step. And then Saryuja's main biggie is if you use 4 monsters with different names, you can draw 4 cards and then place 3 on the bottom of the deck when he's summoned. And then if you use 3 monsters with different names, once per turn you can special summon a monster from your hand. So like a Swap Frog, or if you have the Gamma Seal in your hand, you can just summon Gamma Seal as a beater. And then if you use 2, if a monster is normal summon or special summon to a zone he points to, it just becomes plus 300 attack and defense. And then next up, we got the best card in the entire deck. My boy, Totally Awesome. Once per turn during either player's standby phase, if you have a target in deck, you can detach and then special summon a water or a frog monster from your deck. On my opponent's turn, I like to go Dupe Frog, just because it gives him protection from battles. And then on my turn, I like to go into Swap Frog to just simply make link plays and then make more of the Toads. And then his other effect is you can send a water monster face up from your field or from your hand to the graveyard to negate the activation of a spell, trap, or monster effect. And then you can just set that card onto your field that you negated. Next up, we got a Paleozoic Anomalocararis. I hate saying this guy's name. Half the time I don't even say it. But this card is unaffected by monster effects, and then once per turn, if a trap is sent from your spell or trap to the graveyard except during the damage step, you can excavate the top card of your deck, and if it's a trap card, add it to your hand, and then otherwise it's bye-bye. It's just in the grave. And then, of course, the coming effect, you can only activate if you only have a trap Paleozoic under him. So make this guy with traps. That's what I would recommend doing. And then his other effect is virtually like a Trident. You just, once per turn during either first turn, you can pop a card. And then got a Paleozoic Opobenia. He's the Elemental Hero Stratos of the deck. He has the same effects to where you need at least a Paleozoic trap card under him to virtually utilize this card. And then he's unaffected by other monster effects. And then you can activate Paleozoic trap cards from your hands as if they were set. And also you can detach a material from him to search your deck for a Paleo card and add it to your hand. Then you got a Phantom Knight's Cursed Javelin. He virtually just makes an opponent's monster useless. You can detach material, target a face-up monster. Its attack becomes 0 and its effects are negated. So it's pretty much Black Rose's effect from Plant Synchro era. How people would go Black Rose and like banish a Lone Fire from grave or something like that, and then just make something useless and run over it. Then you got one of the most underrated cards in the deck, Cat Shark. I consistently OTK my opponents with this deck, all because of this little thing. Normally, how you normally like OTKs, you have a Mrs. Radiant up here, you make like a Cat Shark somewhere, and a Toad here. And if they have no monsters on the board, that's well enough for game. And then you got the Daigusto Phoenix, which I'm probably going to take out for a Link Karibo, because I don't really care much for this card that much anymore. And then my side deck is trash, like I don't really have anything. And I'm sorry that they're not sleeved. I just don't have any extra of these sleeves. I need to buy some more. But I've got the 2 Ogres. It's sad seeing these things out of sleeves. You've got the Time Maiden Engine, just to deal with problematic cards your opponent controls. And the cool thing about Zappion is he's a water monster. And then you've got the 3 Mind Crushes, just because a lot of decks now in Yu-Gi-Oh! Search, and Ultrageist is a thing now. True Draco is still a thing, so this card can deal with a lot of those. And then the 1 TT, which is definitely going to be coming out for probably a mistake or something like that. And then the 1 Rivalry, which probably should be main board, but oh well. And then the 1 Anti, which should be main boarded, but I could care less. And this has been the Paleo deck updated. I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been the Only Big Green Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm signing out.